Battery safety is one of the most talked about topics in vaping, and that's because it's one of the most important topics in vaping. You may have seen videos going around of vaporizers exploding. You may have seen videos of pockets exploding because people have put their batteries with a bunch of keys or something in their pockets or just using them incorrectly. Yes, the media does exaggerate these quite a bit, but there are still some things you can do to make sure you are using your batteries safely. First thing we're going to talk about is choosing the right batteries. Now, the battery you choose will be dependent on the kit that you have or the device that you're using it with. So if you come into the e-cig Flavorium or any other reputable store and you already have a kit, just let them know what you're using. If you don't know the technical terms, they should know what device you're using and what battery will work best. If you're coming in to buy a brand new device and you need a battery for it, let them take care of it. Let them know how you will be using it, how you would like to be using it, and they could explain the other options as well. While the employees in a vape shop for the most part will know what batteries to recommend, especially depending on what they have at the time, there are a few things to know about batteries that you should look out for, because sometimes the wrapping on the battery can be misleading, and here are those things. There is no 18650 battery that can have a factory or manufacturer rating over 30 amps. There is no 3000 milliamp hour 18650 that can have a rating over 20 amps. There is no 3100 milliamp hour to 3600 milliamp hour 18650 that can have a rating over 10 amps. There is no 18650 with a capacity rating over 3600 milliamp hours. Now, those technical terms refer to two different things about the batteries. The milliamp hours is basically your battery life, how long it's going to last. The higher the number, technically the longer the battery will last. The amp rating on the battery, I like to say, refers to how much power your battery can hold safely. For the most part, you're going to want to find a balance between how long you want the batteries to last and how much power you will be running in your device. But generally, you have to make a sacrifice somewhere. So if you want to run it at very high powers, chances are your battery life is going to give a little. And then if you want your battery to last a long time, chances are you won't be able to run it at very high power. One of the most important things about batteries is knowing how to store them. For the most part, if you have one device and it's using one battery, generally just keep it in the device. It should be safe there. But if you're traveling or something, you may want to store it in a safer place. There are some options that are made specifically for battery storage, and those are little silicone sleeves that are very easy. They're kind of like rubber. Then there's plastic boxes that generally hold 1 to 2 batteries. And I personally don't really recommend it, but if you have no other choice, pop it in the box that it came in. It's better than nothing. These things don't cost a lot of money. In fact, sometimes promotions are run where you can get those things for free. And honestly, even if it was worth $100 per case, I really think it's worth it. They're not though, they're maybe a couple bucks. If you're using a device that uses one 18650 battery, chances are it will have an onboard charger that you can just plug normally a micro USB cord into it, and it will charge it by itself. For the most part, people who test batteries and chargers and stuff don't really recommend that you charge in the device, but since the only other option is to buy an external charger and people don't want to fork out that extra money, people tend to do it anyway. What I can recommend is, if you are going to charge in the device, to make sure that you are around the device while it's charging. A lot of people want to charge it overnight. I don't recommend that. Even in an external charger, I don't really recommend charging overnight. But if you are going to do it, the safest thing you can do is make sure it's isolated, it's on a non-flammable surface, and I guess hope for the best, but still don't really recommend it. Finally, let's talk about disposing of your batteries. Now, if you've had the battery for a while now, you can feel it's not holding its charge as much, or you just don't trust it anymore because it's been years, you shouldn't let it get that long. But if you do, you need to dispose of your battery, and you need to do it safely. Do not throw it in the trash. Do not let it end up in a landfill. Do not let it end up anywhere that it could potentially be dangerous for anyone involved. The best thing to do is bring it to an electronics store, somewhere like Best Buy that has a battery disposal container. You can give it to them and they will dispose of it, recycle it, whatever they happen to do with it. If you don't have any store like that around, bring it to a vape shop. Chances are they have somewhere to dispose of their batteries. One thing we should talk about is when to know there's a problem with your battery. The biggest indicator is when you're using your device and you feel the battery area or the compartment getting very hot. That is definitely not a good sign. The safest thing to do is to take it apart, take out the battery, make sure it's somewhere safe, somewhere that it won't catch fire. Just from looking at the battery, if you see a little nick or a tear or a cut in the wrapping on the battery, the best thing to do is to rewrap it. I personally do not recommend rewrapping it yourself. I recommend bring it into the e-cig Flavorium and we will wrap it. I think it costs about $2. You can choose the color you want most of the time and it will be like brand new. We have no problem doing that for you because your safety is our first concern. But if we do look at your battery and we see that there is a dent or some other kind of damage that cannot be fixed, we will recommend that you dispose of the battery and buy a brand new one. So that was a very basic breakdown of battery safety in vaping. If you want more detailed information on batteries and battery safety, I will put a link in the description down below to Battery Mooch. Battery Mooch is a guy from America that tests and researches batteries, and he has a lot more information on the best batteries to use, the safety of those batteries, and things to look out for. So thank you very much for watching. We hope to see you in the store soon.